Facebook. Facebook, you crazy. Listen, there was an app update on Facebook mentions today. So, you know, every now and then it goes wrong.
Gotta love it, because it at least allows us to do this.
Right?
Right? So, you know.
Right?
We're so funny.
You know, people can be mad about Zuckerberg and whatever Facebook has done and how social media ruins people.
It's pretty awesome.
But it does allow us to sit here and chat by the fire with a glass of wine.
It's actually amazing.
That's almost done. And answer questions and chat with you all.
You would be able to do this.
So, this is great. So, now it's just more open Q&A. We got some breastfeeding and pumping stuff accomplished strongly earlier in the evening. You know, just...
Somebody asked before about postpartum binders.
Postpartum binders.
And I'm just thinking of a time where you wore that binder and you looked so fabulous.
Listen, it's called the Cintrap.
The Cintrap.
And the Cintrap is my favorite postpartum binder.
Can we explain what a binder is?
A binder's, you know, kind of like what's it called? It Belly Bandit. It's like that, but it's like you wear it to. People think it helps you concentrate more on support, like down in your nether regions. Some of them you can even pull down over your hips to help your hips compress a little bit more. But what is very strong about the Cintrap? A lot of people don't know I put myself through college sewing in a costume shop. I used to sew corsets. I know how to sew. Thank you very much. But the cinch is actually built like an undergarment. It's built like a corset. There's boning in it. So it's not like Kate Winslet, like, you know, Frances McDormand. The money's almost gone, Rose, the money's almost gone. Do you want your mother to have to work? It's none of that. But it is a bit more gentle, but it is completely 360 degrees of compression. And I have actually worn one.
I'm going to post that video.
For how? I wore it for what, an hour and a half that night?
Yeah, it was great. You were like, your back felt better. You could feel like
it's incredible. You feel the support, but it doesn't. With a lot of the other like postpartum binder and wraps, they rise up and dig into your ribs and they suck. Cintrap. It's at.
The whole reason that you want to wear a postpartum binder, and in other countries, in other places, other cultures, they do this with they wrap and they bind after delivery. It's not something that we typically learn here in this country. Like, we're not sent home from the hospital and told to wear a binder. But you know, the stomach muscles during pregnancy separate and they rip apart, and that's where you can actually feel a hole. If you've just given birth, feel between right here, and you'll feel that there's actually a hole between the muscles, and that needs support in order for all those muscles to heal and go back together. It's called a diastasis. And so wearing the support is going to help so much, and especially if you've had a C-section, you should be like leaving the hospital wearing that, because it's going to help you move better. It's going to help you walk better. It's going to help you go from sitting to standing without pain, or moving quickly around. And the more you move, the better you're going to feel. Some people actually sleep in them because after like surgery, it's hard to roll over even because of the pain.
Oh, that's interesting.
So wearing them while they're sleeping, you can do that. You just don't want to wear it too tight.
Well, it's like back when I was dancing. That's my background. I was a musical
You can wear it for
performer.
like a year. You can like 6 months.
I used to wear this awful thing called a dance belt. Okay, and if you can imagine what a jock strap is, it's not. But it is that kind of hold in the front. But instead of if this was a butt, the jock strap goes this way, a dance belt goes straight down the middle. It's not cute. The thing's like as big around as your pinky.
Oh God, like
the wedgies,
like a G-string?
Suck. The wedgies suck. No, it's like this big around. It's not just a G-string. It's like elastic. So it holds you in so you don't injure yourself and like whatever. But a dance belt, because it has this big high waistband, it makes you concentrate on your core and like support and all that. So it's the same idea as that kind of binding
to
thing.
hold it
like
together.
You focus.
Yeah.
I just talked to you about my dance belt. I did 5 productions of Cats. You gotta wear a dance belt.
Hey,
Do you want to wear a dance belt? There you go. And the answer is no, you don't. I'm just saying.
There's your answer. No, we don't.
Yep.
Imagine if this was a butt.
Imagine if this was a butt.
That was the best thing.
That
of
was
whole
the worst.
night.
That's the worst thing. That's. Do you have to be an RN before becoming a midwife, Shari?
If you want to be a nurse midwife, which is a certified nurse midwife, which is what I am, then yes, that's a registered nurse first. But there are also practical midwives that go a different route than the nurse midwife. But a certified nurse midwife is actually a registered nurse.
People are asking about the brand of the cinch wrap. The brand is Cinch.
Cinch-wrap. Cinch.
C-I-N-C-H. Cinch wrap. It's in a pink box that tapers out like a nice corseted waist. It's, you know, whatever. They're the best. Oh my God, so many questions right now.
Hospital gave so somebody got one in the
Your hospital gave you a binder.
Very good.
Right?
Very good.
Do you have to be a nurse to become an LC? No, you do not.
No.
Like a CLC? No. I was going to go through classes on that just for the education, and I'm certainly not a nurse.
There are CLCs and then there are IBCLCs, and to be an IBCLC, there are several different pathways that you can use to get there. Many times it's becoming a nurse. Many nurses become IBCLCs because it requires quite a few hours of clinical practice and working with breastfeeding moms to be able to do that. But you can do it in different ways. You do not need to be a registered nurse.
I sound like I'm saying sin trap and not cinch wrap.
Cinch.
Cinch wrap.
Cinch.
Cinch wrap. Cinch wrap. I'm going to mispronounce it because I mispronounce it all the time. The Kiinde system. I think it is actually a brilliant system for breast milk storage. Basically what it is a screw top. So you put it into your pump, and it comes with adapters for different style pumps. You pump directly into the bag, screw it shut, and then it comes with a rack where you freeze the bags flat. So it freezes evenly. When you thaw the milk, there are frames that the bag snaps into, and then the nipple snaps on. So it basically is its own bottle. If your baby is used to different nipples, there are adapters that put that nipple onto that frame. But what is really good, a lot of people don't know about the Kiinde milk warmer. Okay, and it is a water reservoir. So you put water in it, the bag goes in, the water goes all the way up. Heat, do you know about this one?
No.
It's the best. Heat, what is it, 76 degrees is what the breast milk should be temperature-wise? I'm going blank. Is it 76, 77, 78?
Yeah.
Whatever the standard temperature is before you like start to kill nutrients and stuff.
Yeah.
Room temperature. The water goes all the way up, okay? Then once the breast milk hits that temperature, the water goes down. So instead of you being worried about warming your breast milk on the stove or like whatever, and like, oh, the kids are going crazy, and you run away and you come back and it's overheated, you don't have to worry about overheating the thawed breast milk at all with that warmer. It's great.
I want to actually show you guys something. Hey, Joe, can you get the box from my office?
Yep.
I want to show you something. Because as we're talking about milk storage, I want to show something really cool that we have. And, because Evenflo Feeding, we did the last hour with them. And they have some awesome milk storage bags. And there's something new it's a brown box that just came in. But, what's really awesome is being able to, one of the things that happens when you're storing breast milk is that you can spill it. So the transfer from like being able to going from like the container like this, you're pumping into it and then pouring it into the bags, which Evenflo Feeding has these awesome bags that have these gussets so they stand up.
Their bags are awesome.
They're really awesome. And now they just developed, I'm going to rip this open here.
Go for it.
To you.
Is this the first time you could...
It's awesome.
These aren't really well known yet, are they yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This actually is going to screw right onto your breast pump. I love this. Okay. This is new. And what you do is you screw this right on, and then the bag hooks right into there and will hang from here so you can pump directly into your bag. And it's super strong, and it's super awesome, and super easy.
That's great.
Isn't that awesome? I love it. These are our new bag adapters that go with the
That's
feeding
great.
bags. Aren't they great?
Yeah.
Feel that.
Well, that's legit.
Right?
I've not even seen these, I've seen pictures. I've not seen these in person yet. Just so you can see. Clip, clip, clip.
Yeah.
Clip, clip, clip.
And it will go right onto the bag. And unfortunately, I don't have a bag right here to show you. But it goes right onto the milk storage bags.
That's awesome.
I love this thing. It works really good. It's nice and tight.
That's what she said. So,
It's really good. Well, you know, pumping into the bags makes it so much easier to not spill and to have less to wash, too.
yeah,
That's why they're asking, you know.
yeah, it's very good. I'm looking at, oh my God, I'm looking at. It's cool for people who use bags. Yes, some people just pump into bottles, which, great, if you do. Hooray. How have I never seen that gizmo? Because it's
Brand new. I have connections.
It's brand new. So just for shits and giggles, you know what we're going to do right now? Just as a surprise, we have a giveaway. Okay.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's a really good
Okay.
one. It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. It is for the Lullaby Earth Breeze.
That's a great
Their
mattress.
new crib mat. And I saw it, oh my God, about a year ago at ABC. And you played with it with like vacuums and whatever to see how airflow worked and whatnot. Really, really great mattress. Natural. You're not dealing with like chemical flame retardants and whatnot. And the lining that goes over the mattress
waterproof.
is waterproof, and it is completely breathable.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
The mattress has so many great qualities, from having none of the toxins in them, like you were saying, no flame retardants, and it also is nice and firm on the edges too, so that it sits well inside the crib. It's really lightweight, which if you have changed a crib mattress, you know what that's like, especially in the middle of the night when the baby has peed on them.
Oh no!
Right, so it easily comes up, and they're very lightweight. And the firm edges make it really, really safe.
Yeah, especially if you're going to convert into a toddler bed later. A lot of people don't realize firm edges. If your mattress doesn't have firm edges and they're going to convert into a toddler bed, once your kid starts to sit on the edge, it sags crazy and it's a mess.
And the thing I think one of the things that I always like to stress about this, because people ask all the time, like, what needs to be organic? What are some of the things, like, when you're thinking of chemicals, toxins? We were talking about this in the last segment about, just the plastics that are out there and the effect that they have as hormone disruptors.
To me, mattress is number one.
Mattress is number one. It
Hands down.
off-gasses. And so your regular mattresses are going to off-gas. Now think about it. Your baby's sleeping on it and breathing this in all day, all night while they're sleeping.
A lot of people go crazy. It's when I worked in retail, these women would be like, oh, we just spent $2,000 on this crib and we're going to put $40 into our mattress. That's backwards.
Backwards,
okay?
definitely.
Your kid's face, hopefully they're sleeping. Hopefully that mattress here is what is organic, or as organic as you can possibly get it. Okay. Your crib doesn't have to be necessarily.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
You're fine.
Yep.
You're fine.
Yep.
So get a better mattress. Get a good crib.
Yeah. Skincare products, nipple creams, lotion, shampoos,
Anything
things like
that goes in the skin, the mouth, any of that.
Or anything like a mattress where it's going to off-gas and they're going to breathe in the toxins. And also the other thing about the breeze, you were saying about the cover, it's breathable.
Yeah.
And so that's going to just add to the safety and SIDS prevention and all the other things. And it's waterproof, so it's not going to get, like if the baby pees on it, you're not going to get anything leaking into the mattress where it can grow bacteria. It's all very clean and good. So
Yeah. So, we're not live for 4 more minutes. We had to restart, so we're here for a bit.
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and post the link to this giveaway
We love Lullaby Earth.
here in the comments. Click it, and go enter.
Who wants to win?
If you don't enter right now, I'm also going to post it. Once we're done with the Q&A, I'm going to edit the post wherever it is on your screen to put the link in the post. So you could just click right through and enter. I would like to say, someone just commented, I'm so sad I had to unfriend you because of the number of annoying notifications I constantly got from your page. You are still awesome, but I'm sick of seeing that you're live 800 times a day. I don't care, honestly. Well, I would like to say something to you. I don't care if you unlike me. I also don't go live 800 times a day, and I also don't run how Facebook works. So if you get notifications, I don't got shit to do with that. Okay? I have no control over the notifications that Zuckerberg sends out to all of you. Okay? I love all of you that are still here. I think I'm fine. I'm fine. If you don't want to follow me,
bye.
Don't follow me. It's how I operate here. Okay? I often say things that piss people off. My style is not for everyone, and that's all right. Cheers.
I think enough people like you.
So, I'm
all the right
I'm
people.
fine.
Look at all the
So
look at all the happy people.
again, I'm sorry if it offended someone. It's not my intention. I have no control over that. And I would, if I could be live all day, I would. You know I would.
You totally would.
I never go live anymore.
The only reason I don't go live more is because I have to put makeup on.
I'm joking.
And I don't want to put makeup
Joe.
on all the time. I need more wine. I'm choking.
I need more wine. I'm choking.
And if you want to follow, can we just tell them if they want to follow me for Facebook streaming? Because I can't get my page to get verified for whatever reason. Facebook needs to verify my page, so I can't stream with you. But you can follow me on my private profile. Just follow. It's Shari Priso. Just follow. And what I'm going to be doing is answering questions as we go, because there's like a million questions here, not just from this stream, but you guys have been posting them on my page every single day. I'm trying to keep up, and I would like to just be able to stream to you.
We had a ton of questions during these breastfeeding Q&A. Sorry, I'm fine. Just a little choky. Thank you for that water. White wine recommendation, all of it.
Kim Crawford, Sauvignon Blanc.
I don't know why I'm choking. I just totally missed the question I was going to answer because I'm choking. I'm going to die.
Because we were laughing about that person not wanting to follow you. Take a break.
Oh, that's awful. No, I'm fine. Okay.
There's a guy
the link is there. Okay. I will repost the link once we are done here. I will put it in the caption of the video.
It's lullabyearth.com
/win.
Win. It's like Powerball.
Not too much to drink at all. I'm just choking and I don't know why. Oh, I think I'm because I'm by this fireplace. I don't know. I'm getting warm. Do babies really pop out after a few? Ask Michelle Duggar. I don't.
Do they pop out what?
Do babies really pop out after a few?
After a few what?
Maybe after a few babies, after a few glasses of wine?
That's a good question. Do they pop out?
Somebody's asking me if I'm going to be at MommyCon Atlanta. No, I will not. I'm figuring out.
I won't be there either.
What MommyCons, if any, I will be at this year. My schedule is just completely nuts this year. I have 34 speaking events this year already. So I have to schedule things. So
somebody's asking what the clip was called again. This is called the Evenflo Feeding Milk Storage Bag Adapter. So these go with the
Somebody just said my mom had 11 kids, none fell out. None were like, hi.
Did you pop out?
No, I don't.
After a few?
Babies don't pop out. Well, I mean, you have to. Let's get disgusting here, since we're all family. If babies popped out after you'd had a few, what about pooping? It's a sphincter.
Yeah.
It's the same idea.
Yeah.
If you poop 6-7 times in your life, it's not like sometimes you're like, I just pooped.
It's a little different.
Okay. It's a little different. It's a little different.
Different. Well, they do come out faster. They don't pop out, but they do come out faster. What I've noticed as a midwife, I delivered 600 babies in my practice.
That's
as a midwife, so and that was
600
that I delivered, but then thousands that I was with as a labor and delivery nurse for 8 years. But in the 600 births, I would say that first babies took longer.
Hold on.
Second babies.
Erica.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. By the way.
What'd you say?
I just saw a very nice comment.
Oh, good. You
Yeah.
had a nice comment. Second babies tend to go quicker, and then third babies tended to go a little slower again. The labor went a little slower, sometimes can take a little bit longer, and then the delivery can go really quick. But each delivery usually gets, the birth itself, after your first one, is usually faster and faster. I had a 22-hour labor with Jade, who just turned 14, and a 27-minute labor with Talia. 2.5 years later. She popped out after a few. She fell out.
Somebody said, what events will I be at in the next few months? I have a Gearapalooza February 6th in Austin. If you go through the photos on my Facebook page, I have all the dates that we've released so far. I've put up as photos for Gearapalooza. We have not announced Nordstrom dates yet, and we have a lot of those as well. So yes, I have a lot of Gearapaloozas and Nordstroms this year, which I'm excited about because I love those.
Somebody asked as a midwife, did I deliver VBACs? I did a lot of VBACs in my practice. In fact, a lot of my clients came to me seeking to have a VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after cesarean. And so it's really, really doable. And unfortunately, a lot of physicians don't discourage moms from trying to have vaginal deliveries after they've had a cesarean section. But, you know, it's really the liability that's changed, where they've gotten more scared of these lawsuits. It's not because it's become less safe.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want to say about it, is that, you know, you should really try to, if you're a candidate for a VBAC, you should really try, because I had so many people successfully VBAC, and it's so much better.
My sister had 2 VBACs after the twins.
Yep.
One was with Dr. Hartung in Wisconsin, who's incredible, and he's magic. I talked with him for a bit. I was my sister's birth doula with my nephew. And I wasn't there for the actual appearance, but I was there for everything else, just because at the last minute I had to leave. But Dr. Hartung, in the room next to my sister, delivered a breech baby, 10 pounds, 1 ounce?
Wow.
And the lady didn't even tear.
Wow.
He's magical.
Fantastic.
He was magical because he was trained.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of doctors are
Older
not.
guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
But they're not trained to
not.
deliver breech and things anymore, and it's terrible.
Exactly. Somebody asked a question about do placenta previas correct themselves? So I just want to comment about that. Placenta previa is when the placenta is actually growing over the cervix, or has embedded itself into the wall of the uterus where it's covering over the cervix. That's a full placenta previa, and those do not correct themselves. That's actually, you would actually have to have a C-section. You can't allow the cervix to dilate because you could hemorrhage. But what does correct itself are low-lying placentas. And so lots of times during pregnancy, you'll have, you know, you'll do you'll have the ultrasound done, and they'll say you have a low-lying placenta. They may be watching it. It's not that the placenta moves, but if it's embedded into the uterus low down. As the uterus grows, it moves because the uterus is growing and stretching out. And so, yes, that can correct itself. So there's a difference between low-lying and complete placenta previa. Complete previas cannot be delivered vaginally.
Fair.
Just want to answer that question.
Uh-huh.
It's been a while since I answered that question.
Brittany is going to Disney World tomorrow. She thank you for saying you adore us. We have fun. We have fun here. Teething necklaces and amber teething necklaces. I'm a fan of amber. My sister used them with all of her kids. A lot of people do get worried with the amber teething necklaces. So at night, if you take them off, wrap them around their ankle or something. But
or just leave them off at night. And use
or just
them
leave
during
them
the day.
off. Yeah. Have you ever had any births in caul?
Births what?
In caul. In the caul. Like the one in the sack.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very cool. And I mostly did hospital births, but a couple of home births, and there was one during a home birth that, yes, we had underwater.
That's very cool.
Very cool.
Hi, Laura. Best convertible car seat. Honestly, car seats are such a dicey issue anyway. The best car seat is what fits your budget, fits your car, fits your kid, that you use properly every time. And I'm still choking. I have my favorites. I can make arguments for those car seats all day long. So I love Kleck. I love Peg Perico. I really like the Kiko. Diono. There are sadly car seats in Europe that we can't get here that are wonderful. So, you know, there are good car seats everywhere. The Graco Forever is very good. It depends. That's why people write me privately to get my real opinion. So those are my favorites.
I wish I could see better, because then I could read these questions easier.
Honey will help an itch in her throat. Well, that is why I have a Ricola right now. I don't know what is going on in here right now, but something has
We've been
scratched.
talking for a long
Something
time.
has scratched my throat. So, somebody said thoughts on delayed clamping.
Yeah, I mean, allowing the cord to stop pulsating is going to help the baby's iron levels to be higher, and to allow that extra blood to go into the baby. They get that last bit. Also, it gives the baby it allows for an easier transition, because the baby's still getting oxygenated from the mom even after the baby comes out. So delaying cord clamping, what I also love about it too is that it prevents baby from being taken away from mom and doing skin to skin, because when you're still attached, they can't really go that far. So just allowing the baby to deliver right onto the belly and skin to skin, and allow the cord to stop pulsating on its own. That's what I would recommend.
In case any of you are seeing me do this, it's because normally I carry two phones with me. So I broadcast from one and have my actual phone down here. I forgot it this time. I realized on the train. So I'm using my phone, and I'm like, I'm getting texts from people. It's my sister. I get it. I'll respond when I'm off. So everyone who's texting me right now, I'll get to you shortly.
So many things passing through here.
Oh my God, oh my Lord. This is such a different, oh my Lord.
Typically during a C-section, depending on the physician, they're not going to delay cord clamping, although they could. it really is something that you want to talk about with your practitioner, with your doctor, with the surgeon before the C-section. There's no reason that they can't do it, but typically they're going to pass the baby over to the neonatologist or the nurses during the C-section, so they kind of go a little quicker.
So with the thoughts on consignment sales. Okay, consignment sales I'm all for clothing. Used clothing, get it done, it's great. Because you are getting clothing that is softer, all the shit's been washed out of them. It's great. Do not do car seats at consignment sales.
Never,
Ever. Be very careful doing furniture because you don't know if the structure's been compromised, if the product has been recalled. What you're also going to be careful of is a stroller. Basically everything. You don't know if it's been recalled, if it's broken, whatever. So do your research prior. Go in. Now that we all have smartphones, for the most part, we can like Google like what stuff is supposed to look like. It's a little different. Clothing, great. Everything else, be wary. Be wary. Clothing.
Somebody asked a question about cord care. That they've changed the recommendations about how to care for the cord, that you just don't do anything with it, that you just let it air dry.
No.
I personally still recommend using alcohol on the cord. I know that they say that it doesn't really do anything, but what I've seen is that it helps to dry it out faster. That's my personal experience over the years of watching people use it or not use it. And so I can't see how the alcohol actually hurts it, but I have seen cords that take a really long time to come off, and can actually get infected, and using alcohol will keep it dry. So a little bit of rubbing alcohol around the cord.
Okay.
I know they say it doesn't matter anymore, but I typically recommend that. Somebody with a new baby just asked me that question.
All right, that's valid. Okay, you found out the McLaren that you bought was one of the recalled ones that eats fingers. I would like to address this right here. The great McLaren recall of several years ago, there's recalls for stuff that's actually wrong, like harnesses not being installed in car seats, etc. Then there are recalls for human error, okay? And when products come out, they not only have to meet all of these crazy standards, but they have to go through what's called foreseeable misuse, okay? And that's like, oh God, could this product be used incorrectly, this and this and this and this and this? Guess what? A stroller has moving parts, okay? God forbid it happens to anyone's kid or you, but when you're folding a stroller up and you're doing whatever, keep your fingers and your kids' fingers away from hinges and moving parts. Okay, that is common sense.
Common sense.
Doors have that. Cars have that. They're not recalling Hondas because people slam their fingers in car doors. Okay, so this McLaren recall that happened years ago, and it all went nuts. Cost them $1 million, and like all the other umbrella strollers are suffering from it. It's bullshit. Okay. I would testify in a court with that. I don't care. It's bananas. So if you have an old McLaren and it's still working fine, you're good to go. It's that and like the Bumbo recall. The Bumbo recall was also stupid. So read labels.
I'm going to answer a question I saw. We're going to go back and forth here because
sure.
then I get to see some.
Sure.
On staying calm during an unmedicated birth.
Okay.
Okay. Many different techniques, many different tips that I can give you. I'm going to give you one really good one: water. Whether that's getting into a tub or into a shower. You may not want to be in a tub. I know personally I get really hot sitting in the hot water. Not everybody likes to be submerged in water, but the shower was amazing. Water just soothes everything, and it just, I mean, my patients, when I was doing deliveries, I'm not doing them anymore, but back when I was, I would have everybody in the shower or in the tub, and I would say water is one of the best things for labor.
You know what I thought was interesting, because I went through all these childbirth classes where I worked, and you forget, like, to labor properly, on your back is not your best position ever, okay? Because your baby actually has to go up a ramp, basically. So in a squatting position, it's very good. So go sit on the toilet.
The toilet's great.
The
And
toilet
it's
is a
cold.
great
And it
place to
feels
sit.
good. And it takes the pressure off your perineum and off the rectum and everything else. And it just to sit on that hole.
Maybe hospitals should start having squatty potties in L&D. Like,
Yeah.
squatty potties are a very good thing.
A lot of the beds actually break apart like that,
Yeah.
where you can actually sit on them and they're in a hole, and they have bars where you can kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
squat and hold
Yeah,
on
yeah.
to the bar, or just get down on the floor too.
I think a way to also ease any kind of anxiety and relax is to take classes. Like, I found it very odd when I worked retail for 5.5 years at 2 different stores. Women would come in and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm having a C-section in the morning, blah, 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 etc. And at the end of the day, I do not care how you deliver a child. I do not care how you birth. What I find interesting is how you plan for it or how you do not. And you will plan. If I was going on vacation, I would plan for a vacation for months and months and months, like a good vacation. And I dealt with people that were having a child who were like,
well, they do more research when they're like going to go buy a car.
Yeah.
Or, than like,
it's
I
like,
have no idea.
I don't understand. And like, when I first started at Bye Bye Baby, a lady came in and was like,
I know.
I'm having a C-section at 6:30 in the morning. I've heard I need diapers and a car seat. And I was just like, what?
It's kind of nuts.
And I barely knew anything. I had
God,
sisters
yeah.
20 years younger, so I kind of knew like how to walk her through the store and get stuff. But I was like, you've had all this time to prepare. And I get everyone's circumstances are different. Whatever, she may have had a time crunch.
Yeah.
But what?
Well, and one of the other things that is really important too is to deal with not just the when you're going through classes or you're going through preparation for birth, to not just go through the stages of labor. So many of the classes that you go to talk about dilatation, efface, and you learn about the logistics of birth and not really about the mindset of birth. And I think when I used to teach my childbirth classes, we used to teach when we had the store. Actually, Joe, my husband, and I used to teach the class together as a couple, which was awesome. The name of the class was called Surrender. And we literally didn't go over much of the logistical parts of it. They would go to other childbirth classes for that. This was really intended to talk about the fears that come up when it comes to labor and birth, because fear is has such a huge impact on how we birth. And when you think about how women talk to each other, how you see it in the media, how you hear about birth, and it creates so much fear to actually go through it. And when you are afraid, and hospitals in general, when you walk into a hospital, when do you normally walk into a hospital? It's usually when you're sick, someone's hurt, someone's dying. So the connotation of okay, I'm in a hospital usually brings up a lot of anxiety and fear. Fear releases a hormone in your body like that fight or flight, and it releases the adrenaline, which adrenaline actually works in opposition of the hormone that causes contractions, oxytocin. Yeah. So it stops your labor. So how many times did you hear somebody say, I was contracting, I was doing really good, I got to the hospital and everything stopped? And that has to do with the fear. So not addressing your fears, not thinking about it, trying not to deal with it until the moment is the absolute worst thing that you could do. You want to talk about it. You want to read about births. You want to hear from people who've had great births. Those are not the ones that are usually walking around talking about it.
Read,
I don't know why we like to scare each other.
There are great books. The Big Book of Birth by Erica Lyon, From the Hips, is a great one that my friend Corinne wrote. There are great books about delivery. And, it's like we're talking about oxytocin. What I did not understand fully, oxytocin and pitocin are very, very, very different things.
Very different.
And doctors will say, oh, you had artificial oxytocin, you had this, no such thing. Oxytocin crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it helps you cope with things differently. Pitocin does not.
Pitocin makes you contract. Right. It has nothing to do with it. It's totally different.
I just went off on a tangent.
I just wanted to say that because I think it's so important. We hear from women who like to freak each other out, and I had 50 hours of labor and blah blah blah, and you don't hear from the women who say, I have never had a more empowering experience in my life. Yes, it was pain, but it was not suffering. There's a difference between pain and suffering. Yes, it was hard work. Yes, I was exhausted, and yes, I've never been so alive in my life. And so these are the things that you don't always hear, and I think it's important to hear those things so you can feel the inner strength that you have, because as women, we were made to do this, and whether you have a C-section or a vaginal delivery or you adopt a child, however you do this, we were meant to nurture these children. And so I just wanted to really say that because I think it's important to hear.
Truthiness here at the table by the fireplace. Oh goodness, what else? Best diaper bag for baby wearers. There are hundreds of diaper bags. I like backpacks, so just get a sensible one, or get a bag that can convert from a diaper bag, messenger bag, to a backpack style. There are a ton of different ones on the market.
I would think if you're wearing your baby, having something that you could put on your back is going to be a lot easier.
Yeah, just depends on what you need.
I love everybody's commenting on their amazing births.
Yeah.
And this is what you need to be hearing and reading.
Comment on your amazing birth.
Please comment on
if you had a great birth experience. Please, God, comment below. Let people read that. Okay.
Definitely.
It's my sister had a VBAC with the twins. No, she had a cesarean with the twins, VBAC with Gray, my nephew, and with Veda. And with Grayson, she was like, this is the best thing I've ever done, and it's a lot, it's work, so, get it done.
And there are reasons to try for vaginal birth. Lots of times people are just like, okay, I'm not even going to try, but there are really good reasons. One of them that they just did a ton of research they're coming out with now is the whole idea of the baby covered in bacteria from the mother.
No, exactly.
It's so important.
That's what I was. The bacteria and the head massage of going to the birth canal is what was harped on with me when I went through my classes.
Definitely.
Because you're not getting this bacteria through a C-section.
I was watching this whole documentary where they were showing they were doing vaginal swabs during a C-section and then swabbing the baby with the bacteria after a C-section. Something to consider, because what they were saying was that it's coating the baby in the bacteria that actually completely gets within their entire system and creates all their immunity for life. It's think about it. Any baby,
y'all didn't know I'd talk about this, did you?
I didn't even know we were going to get to this.
Here we go.
But children were never meant to come into this world any other way. It's only through modern medicine that we're able to deliver them.
And thank God for it when it's needed.
Thank God. Thank God. But like anything else, we may be missing something that we're just discovering now. And so there are ways to actually replicate that.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's very cool, actually.
And they were showing that those babies actually had the same bacterial growth within their body. Like, it totally worked.
Somebody said, what if you're GBS positive?
Yeah. So? I mean, for a VBAC?
I don't know. That's all her comment
GBS
was.
positive, very, very common. About 30% of the population is GBS positive. If you're not testing positive, it depends on what your doctor decides to do. Some will actually medicate if you culture positive at 36 weeks. So you may get antibiotics in labor. Others will not culture and then just treat symptomatically, like if you've had prolonged rupture of membranes, if you're less than 37 weeks at delivery, certain things like that, or if you've had GBS in your urine. Those are all criteria that might need antibiotics. It depends on your practitioner, but it would never really make it so that you couldn't deliver vaginally.
Okay. Questions. Here we go.
You get antibiotics during labor. Yeah, GPS.
Antibiotics about what?
2 years. Somebody's asking about birth spacing.
Spacing for VBACs?
No, just spacing your pregnancies.
Oh, okay.
Typically, 18 months is what's recommended. Not that you can't have a baby sooner than that, but what they say is that about 18 months is how long it would takes your body to really recover and recuperate again to carry another pregnancy where there's no increased risk to that second pregnancy or the second baby. Lots of times if you're continuing to breastfeed, you may not get pregnant sooner because the breastfeeding might prevent you from ovulating, but not for everybody. So I would say 18 months is a good spacing.
18 months before conceiving or before birth?
Conceiving. It also, and when I would talk to my clients about the spacing as well, you know, I had clients who'd say, I want to have another baby right away. You know, their baby, they might have a 6-month-old nursing baby, and they're like, what do I do? Because I really want to get pregnant and quick. I want to have my babies close together. And my answer would always be, you know, the 18 months is what we recommend for the health of the second child. But at the same time, you want to, like, give that first baby everything you have, you know, like really enjoy it. And even if you're an older mom, you know, like where you maybe a little bit advanced in your age and you're worried about it, that extra 6 months is not going to make the biggest difference, but it will make a difference to that first child, to give that child be able to breastfeed for the full year for as long as possible, and to space them so each pregnancy has the best chances for good health.
Somebody just said if you want a VBAC, advocate for it. I agree with that, because what women and families need to realize is that when you are pregnant and you are finding an OBGYN and whatnot, you are the consumer, okay? It is a consumer-based business, and if you don't find someone that lines up with your ideals about what you want to do ideally, move on.
Yeah.
And
again, like we were saying before, nothing's changed in the last like 40 years, 30 years about like that VBACs are not as safe as they were. There's no difference. It's still, the risks are still very, very small. They're still worth it. The risks of surgery outweigh the risks of whatever it is for the VBAC, because there are risks with surgery. And so what's changed is just liability. You know, some hospitals unwilling to do VBACs, some doctors that are unwilling to do VBACs, and I actually do understand it in some ways, because when you think of what doctors actually have to go through as far as their insurance, and I'll tell you, they're paying like over $100,000 a year for malpractice, it's going to sway their opinions. I would say that that's where you really need to speak to your practitioner and make sure that they're really on board with what it is that you want. Like she said, advocate for your VBAC. Some will just not want to do it.
You should advocate for your birth, period.
In all ways. In all ways. And don't wait until you're like 39 weeks to have this conversation.
Yeah.
If you're not getting the answers you want, it's time to switch.
I have many friends who have left their practitioners halfway through and been like,
as a midwife, I had women calling me and they're like, I'm 38 weeks, is it too late? And my answer would be, is your baby out? No, it's not too late. Come on.
Is there an arm out? Like,
if your baby's still inside, it's not too late, and that's going to be my advice to you. If your baby is still in you, it's never too late. And as a midwife, I had a lot of transfers in, very late transfers, because you know, people would just wake up at like 37 weeks and go, holy crap, like this is not the person I want to deliver my baby. They're not agreeing to anything that we had talked about early in the pregnancy, and I can see where this is going, and I would get the call like, you know, can I come?
Well, like Dr. Hartung, who delivered my nephew, you know, in Minnesota, Jennifer could not have a VBAC. We had to go to Wisconsin.
Wow.
You know, it was only like an hour and a half drive, or like whatever, an hour to get there. But the woman who had the breech in the room next door was from Illinois, and she had actually moved down there for the time surrounding her estimated delivery
Amazing.
because she wanted this specific
So great,
doctor. And I
though.
know that is not doable for everyone
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
You know, thankfully she could do that for herself. But it was like, oh,
Yeah.
like get it done.
Well,
you
like
know?
you said before, like people put more consideration into what car to buy. They do more research about those type of things. than
Are
they
you
do
going to
about,
the Bahamas,
you know,
Turks and Caicos?
And then they
Great.
wind up with the same doctor because that was the person you went to when you were 16 and had your first pap smear, so you stayed with them your entire life. That doesn't mean that's the person who's going to deliver your baby. So you really want to advocate for yourself and find somebody good.
Yeah. Are DVT blood clots postpartum common?
No, they're not common, but it can happen. And
What is a DVT blood clot?
It's a deep vein thrombosis, so
Okay.
it's a deep clot. What you want to do is avoid elevating your legs after delivery. You keep your legs flat in front of you. You don't put things underneath your knees. You don't elevate the legs. You keep them, and you try to move as much as possible. Back in the days when we had, when our mothers, maybe not your mother, but my mother gave birth to me, back in those days, women used to stay in bed for like 10 days after delivery, and they wouldn't move around, and they would get these deep vein clots. And so, that doesn't happen very often anymore because we get people out of bed, we get them moving. So walking after delivery and not elevating the legs will prevent that. An L&D nurse tries to give moms which they want, have the best experience possible. L&D nurses rock. They are the best. I was an L&D nurse for a long time. It was my favorite, some of my favorite years. I was 22 when I started as an L&D nurse.
Really?
Yes, I was actually 21, 22. I was very young, and I used to work the night shift. So I'd show up at 11 o'clock at night, and those were back in the days where we did 8-hour shifts, that now they do 12-hour shifts. And I used to do 5 nights a week, all night long. So 3 in the morning, we'd be eating lunch and hanging out. And I was in a hospital where we had no residents. It was this very small community hospital, and there were 2 of us in L&D and no doctors in the building the whole night. So we used to do deliveries all the time because moms would come in and wind up delivering before anybody could get there. And it was one of the reasons that I decided to go back to school and become a midwife, because I was already doing these births. I said, let me go back and learn what I'm doing here. And then went back to the same hospital, opened my practice, and I was there for another 8 years. Doing deliveries at the hospital.
I guess I didn't realize you'd started that.
But I loved being an L&D nurse, and I love L&D nurses. They're amazing people, just so caring. And so it takes a lot of, you have to really love your patients, and you have to really love working with people when they're in labor. It's a hard time, and one of the hardest things about it was meeting somebody for the first time while they're in labor, and trying to understand, like, who is this person? What is it that I can do to help you and have you have the best experience? And I'm still friends with some of the people that I was with. Awesome. Yeah, and they have grown children now.
I think, I look back at, when my sister had Grayson, and it was like, they had a killer staff there, and like Jennifer clearly was there, Kyle was there, and because I'd gone through all of these classes, again, educate yourselves, but as their doula position, I was there to be like walking them through everything and be like, these are like different positions we need to get on. I'm going to press on your hips, Kyle. This is where you hit the hips. We're going to go on a walk. We're going to do all this stuff. And it was so cool to be a part of, like, I've never experienced that in my life.
Right?
And to like be like, her body is changing, and it's very primal, and it's it is. I wrote a post about it, and it's like that. To me, that is the last primal thing we really have.
It's amazing.
Is that.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
And it was like to watch Jennifer transition through everything and be able to help in some way. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing
I used
ever.
to cry. I mean, I did it for a long time, and like I said before, I did 600 deliveries, and I cried at every birth. I mean, I was the midwife, and at first I thought, am I not supposed to do this because I was so emotional?
There's no way you
but
could.
it's it's such an emotional thing, and then after a while I realized that that was not about being professional, unprofessional. You're experiencing something with somebody, being completely present, and I felt them, and I felt
Oh, there we go.
I just felt gratitude for having that privilege of being able to be with a woman at that moment and to guide her and to help her. And so I cried at every birth. It was amazing.
No, I don't blame you for it. Somebody just said, is this the last session? We've been on her for an hour and
I'm done.
How long now? We've been on her a long time.
We're just
It locked up for a second. We just came back. We just came back. Do I know of any online classes for birth?
No, but I know online classes for breastfeeding.
Yeah. There are DVDs that you can watch about childbirth and whatnot. My sister watched a couple. But what I learned working at the birth education center that I worked at, it is so important to go through education like that with people if you can, because they will have questions that you will not think of. You develop a bond with everyone in your class. You're all due around the same time. So it immediately kind of starts a support group from the get-go. And it kind of in the same vein, a lot of people always ask me, like, if their partners should take breastfeeding classes. Breastfeeding classes are not just for women.
No.
Every single partner of a breastfeeding mother or a mother who thinks she will breastfeed should take classes, because mama's going to be tired. She will forget shit. And to have somebody else there that's like, this is what we need to do, like, blah, 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 this is what's going on, is very, very important.
Totally.
So.
And I'm going to give you my website because I tend to not let people know that I have the classes available that they can actually take, and I think it's super important.
Yeah.
And if you've enjoyed listening and the education, then you're going to really, and you liked hearing what we were talking about tonight, you're going to really get a lot out of my class. The Simply Breastfeeding class, if you're pregnant, I cannot recommend something more to you, for you and your partner to watch before delivery. And then also in the hospital, you can watch it streaming. You can watch it after your baby's born, and also the breast pumps and briefcases if you're going back to
Watch
work.
it way before.
You
Watch
definitely want to.
times.
This is all online. I used to teach them live, and then we filmed them, and now they're available when you can watch them anytime. So you can go to my website, which is mybabyexperts.com. That's plural.
I will link to
Give
that
the
as well.
link, and I honestly feel like it's really important for us to mention this because so many of the questions that came up in the first session and then even later, and every time we've done this, are answered in that class.
Yeah.
So they're waiting till afterwards, like you said, going in like, I don't know, and then it doesn't work out, or they don't know the basics of like, this is how much a baby eats, and those
And
things
it's like,
are just so important.
I procrastinate like crazy. I get it. But it's like, I will sit and binge watch Kimmy Schmidt or like Jessica Jones on Netflix. But it's like, this is different. So learn it, watch it, hooray. The thing is, I feel people don't know the information is there for them easily available.
That's why I'm saying it again, because I think it's really important that they do know.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Did everybody have a good night tonight?
We had a great night.
I
Aside from my
enjoyed this.
coughing fit. Remember my coughing fit?
Yeah, that was
awful.
That was terrible.
So, yay.
I'm glad you feel better.
This has been a great night. We
gave away some great prizes.
We talked for
right?
about 3 hours.
We talked for a long time.
The contest for the Lullaby Earth mattress goes until, I think,
tomorrow?
midnight tonight. I'll check. I'll repost the link in the caption. So thank all of y'all for hanging out. This is, how many people do we have right now? 630. Wow. And that's fine. So we love doing these. Thanks for chatting.
We'll see you again.
Yeah.
We'll see you in Denver next time, right?
Denver.
We'll be in Denver, February. We don't know the exact date yet.
Nope.
But we'll let you know. We'll let you know.
So thanks for hanging out. We are done. I've got to do a little bit of work before I go to bed. So bless. Be good.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.